We got it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of ESP Enchanting Sorcery Productions presents Stormwatch 5e featuring MCDM, Kingdoms in Warfare. I am not muted this time, which is very exciting. I did it right. I did the thing. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Shout out to our friends in Lost Caravan. Hello. Welcome. They are getting ready for Recall Week, so make sure to go and check them out over there on Lost Caravan. Shout outs in the chat and welcome in for the time being. Our good friends over there. Shout outs all around. Hope y'all are doing well. And you're planning for Recall Week. Hello, 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 hello all around. As always, I am your host, Essie or Aaron Spencer. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your DM, GM, facilitator / storyteller. And thank you, Jeff, with the Nightbot commands. And we're going to go around the table. We're going to introduce Sans, Isabits, and Ange tonight. We have, of course, our core three, and we're going to start with introductions. Nick, why don't you go ahead and tell us who you play, a little bit about who you are and who you play in our Stormwatch campaign.
Hello, hello. I play Clematis Scamperpaw, the wild magic Herringon, a barbarian sorcerer, and yeah, he's just here to smash things with a hammer and blow stuff up with wild magic.
And the wild magic is a lot of fun when we get to it. The tarot cards can amplify that. Don't forget 850 channel points pulls an interactive tarot card from the D&D Adventurous Tarot by our friends at Weirdworks LLC. I'm getting really good at these segues. And D, the incredible D, welcome back. Hello, who are you and who are you playing? Who do you play in our Stormwatch campaign?
Oh, it's me.
It
I'm
you.
D. I play Abigail Willowshire, everyone's favorite lovely little warlock orc. Yeah, she's just here and she's blue.
Thank you, D. And Jeff / Fathagan on the TikToks for the kids. Who are you and who do you play in our Stormwatch campaign?
Good evening. My name is Jeff. You can find me as Fathagan on TikTok. But I am playing this evening Simeon, who is a Battlemaster fighter, but not the way you think.
See if I can get my camera to readjust. Close up. All right. No, it's all fussy. Camera, why? Camera 2, no! Hold on, I'm just going to switch cameras here for a second. We'll go over to the 310, and then back to the 920. That usually fixes it. Technical gremlins, everyone. So, other than some graphics aside, we have some updating to do, just some general housekeeping with our graphic for our overlay. If you notice the two-headed eagle of the Sevicora and of the Queen's Realm, the Vascutoria, we have officially, we're going to be transitioning back into the Forgotten Realms where we first started our Stormwatch campaign. So if you watch the first 5 VODs, which statistically most people do, if you watch the first 5 VODs and have not been able to catch up with the middle, there's a lot of traveling, a lot of walking, a la Lord of the Rings along a trail. And if this was a good time as we emerge from the depths of the Underdark below Shadowdale in the Dalelands to switch back from our homebrew world to the Dalelands. We're very excited with some of the changes that we've been seeing coming from WotC, and myself, and I think a lot of us really love the Forgotten Realms. It's very special to all of us, and we like seeing a company that we grew up with move in generally speaking, towards the right direction. So we're very excited. I'm very excited personally to be back in the Forgotten Realms. It's a little bit more cohesive, and as Jeff once said, we like to bash the fash. So that's what we're doing here. We're fighting against the xenophobic despots of the Hillsfire Alliance, taking the fight to them, helping House Derneve reclaim their ancestral homeland, marching through, recruiting the disparate farmers and citizens of the Dalelands who have been oppressed by said xenophobic despots of the Hillsfire Alliance. It's all canon, by the way. You can actually check that out. They are a great villain for anyone that's looking to do a Dalelands or a 5e campaign and looking for a universal villain and that more of there's a specific term for the philosophy of the truest enemy is not necessarily what dwells in cosmic horror, but your fellow man. Right? That sort of same philosophical idea. But as far as a recap, we are traveling through the Underdark with the remnants of House Derneve who have been hunted by the Hillsfire Alliance, down to the bare minimum, which you see before you here. The remnants of House Derneve have met with the Stormwatch and are planning to reclaim their ancestral home with the assistance of the Zentarim's elite, the vanguard, the tip of the spear of the Zentalar, the Storm Watch. Under the command of Riviar Darkwind, you have been sent forward to forge ahead of the great host of the Zentalar. With your 2.5 days travel through the Underdark, encountering strange denizens, zombie beholders, an ancient fortress of House Geneve, and now a temple dedicated to the Four Winds, an ancient mysterious monastic order, you are but 1 day's travel away from nightfall in Shadowdale, of which, roughly just past midnight, you, the matrons of House Geneve, and all that remains, will travel into Shadowdale from below, attempt to claim the Shadow Tower for yourselves, to return it to the matrons of House Geneve, and turn its shadow magics against the occupants, the occupiers, and the usurpers. From then, and from there, you must hold just long enough until dawn, when, according to communications and reliable intel, the Zentalar will arrive, will crest over the horizon, set up camp, and prepare to lay siege to Shadowdale. The year is 1491 DR, and the spring, late spring, approaching early summer. And the War of Swords, set 1 year before our upcoming Wednesday Phandelver campaign, is about to begin in earnest. So, you have all come to the Temple of the Four Winds, an ancient, crumbling temple in the depths of the Underdark, with the remnants of House Geneve and you at the tip of the spearhead. Here you rest for the evening. The glowing fungus, the bioluminescent fungus and crystals of the Underdark glowing around you. The knowledge that just 1 more day, everything in Faerun will change. Stormwatch, we bring it back to you as you approach the Temple of the Four Winds and prepare to set up camp for the evening. Router, hello, welcome. The floor is yours. You can see Terra making her way up to the temple, and there is something mysterious about this ancient space. Alien even to the matrons of House Geneve. They are cautious as they maneuver their way through the ancient crumbling statues.
Simeon will definitely be up front there with Terra, trying to keep pace with things, make sure he can take the hits.
Okay. You can see Terra just makes her way up to the main elevated platform that seems to be the main temple. There is an ancient stone arch and a decaying, crumbling stone door that lies slightly ajar. The rest of the temple transparent, as you can see through the crumbling facade of the once great temple.
I'd like to kind of look around, see if there's any, because you said there was an alien feeling to this place, right?
Something that is unique and separates itself from the Underdark. Yes, for sure.
Okay. I kind of want to get a feel for what that is, if it's like magic that's similar to mine, if it's more like arcane in nature, or perhaps since it is a temple, if there's some divine spark that's still here or something like that.
Sure. So I would say go ahead and make an Arcana check and a Religion check, whichever one you want to make
Sure.
first. We'll kind of play off of whatever your results are there.
I will take that Arcana check first.
Okay.
And I will. Am I allowed to guidance myself?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay. 21 total.
All right, hang on, let me just add these new temporary tokens while we wait for our good friend Tora Draws to complete the final touches on the final two sisters. 21. Okay, and was that Arcana or Religion first?
This was Arcana.
Okay, all right. As a divine soul sorcerer, you open your mind to the presence around you and try to sort of tap into that magic to try and discern the nature of this place. And something resonates with you specifically. Something divine seems to emanate from this place. Just the sacredness of the symbols, the representation of the four elements and the statues with the four arms. There is certainly an element of divinity that lingers here. It's very likely, with your 21, a temple dedicated to a deity that kind of feels out of place here in the Underdark, but something very old, very ancient that has very likely taken many forms. Something transcendent about it. To see it down here makes you almost think that there is a bigger picture beyond what most Faerunians believe. And the proof is right here before you, in addition to that which you have opened your mind to with your own divine magics.
Okay. Then I will go ahead and follow up that Arcana with a Religion,
Okay.
which is also a 21.
You do know that this particular area seems to be two things. One, the site of an ancient battle, but that battle seems to be secondary. This was a holy place that was attacked. It seems to... Things are out of place. The fact that there are so many corpses and skeletons littered around, and the fact that there is a pile of skulls at the base of the statue leads you to believe that the residents of the temple were defeated in whatever great battle long ago. The matrons themselves seem aware but cautious. Their inquisitive looks and gestures suggest that they are attempting to surmise the same things that you are. Perhaps maybe hearing of this temple, knowing what it is, and knowing of an ancient struggle, but the specifics of which seem to have been lost to time. An ancient monastic order depicting some kind of a winged four-armed deity. Those are the symbols that keep coming back. Great wings and four elements combined together. Something very old and ancient. You do know that of the orders of the Four Winds, this particular order, with your religion of 21, stood adjacent to the Temple of the Open Hand. These are two ancient traditions. The Temple of the Open Hand being the specific monastic faith that follows and worships Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon, and the Four Winds being elementalists that worship a more a purer aspect of the four elements before it became corrupted by the princes of the apocalypse, tie into the Temple of Elemental Evil. But this is what existed of the four elements order before it was historically corrupted and infiltrated by those who wished to see harm done to the denizens of Faerun.
Once we step inside and Simeon sees
I
the
love lore.
pile of bodies, or rather, a pile of skeletons, does he feel anything out of the ordinary coming from his pockets, or anything that seems likely to set off Lady V.
As you kind of open your mind to the necromantic, otherworldly power that you have been safeguarding, there seems to be. You sort of query your answer, and there seems to be a bit of excitement at your attention to try and relate the two things or to commune with this power in any way. Your heart kind of flutters a bit, but you kind of get the sensation that it's just that, and that there is no connection, or at least no connection that would seem to agitate the powers that you are currently safeguarding. There is almost a sense of awe at this old and ancient place dedicated to the elements themselves.
With that, I think Simeon would cautiously look back to our compatriots who've been traveling with us and say, "Well, it looks safe, if not old and damaged."
I'm going to use my magic awareness. Just to make sure, just gonna sniff around and get a sense of the magic in the area.
Of course.
So essentially, yeah, just anything within 60 feet of me, if there's a spell or magic item, um, I just get a sense of what it is, and if there's any spells, I know the school of magic as
Ooh,
well.
okay. I actually had something. I need to look at something up for this. I'm actually going to tab back over here and shut off the roll 20 real quick. As you kind of scour this area, you can see that kind of crumbled over here. I want to say right beside this pillar. You can see just behind the pillar itself is a very faintly glowing source of magic that seems to have been covered in debris and detritus, and there is this light blue fungus that sort of grows around it. It's not any of the other fungus that you've recognized from before. It seems to be unique amongst the rest of the fungus that you have encountered in the Underdark that grows here. Amongst everything else, it is somewhat cold to the touch.
Hey, Abigail, if you wanna look at this, there's some interesting fungus over here.
She kind of looks up from where she was looking down at all the skulls and just kind of goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm coming." Just trot her way over there.
And I'll get closer to kind of look and see what it is,
Okay.
but try not to touch it immediately because I don't know. You just never know with this stuff.
Sure. No, there is actually there's a little bit of an underground river that is flowing just to the northeast, and there's a pile of rubble sort of right on the other side of this ancient pillar, this crumbling pillar that is
Mm-hmm.
partially collapsed. And you would definitely have to do some digging, and then there are those mushrooms around it that seem to be sort of somewhat cool to the touch, that have a little bit of a bioluminescent glow, but that stand apart.
Well, I am definitely gonna just kind of fly over, uh, just kind of observing them, see like if they're growing, like out of the cracks or like how they're kind of situated in here.
Totally. Go ahead and make a nature check for me.
Sure.
And I'm going to kind of click my tongue a little bit and usher Merlin out
Okay.
and see if Merlin wants to crawl on down there and use his claws a little bit to dig and see if he can get at whatever it is. Because the magic is not coming from the mushrooms, it's coming from something else, right?
Correct. Yep.
So yeah, have Merlin start to dig if Abigail thinks they're safe enough. That they're not going to be some other kind of mushroom bomb.
All right, so nature check 14 total. This is very strange. This is almost like a new type of fungi that has seemingly been drawn to this source of magical power, whatever it is.
Okay. With the help of who the Merlin was it that you called out?
Yes, a familiar.
Can you
Okay.
describe
With
Merlin
the
again?
Yes, if I remember correctly, Merlin is a weasel. As far as I remember, I believe. Where did I write it down? It's been so long since we've had him. I've been bad at this.
That's okay.
I
I do
will
believe
say
he is Weasel, yes.
I will say
Weasel or
she is
parrot.
briefly distracted by the fact that there's a weasel now.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
yeah.
cute.
Sorry, Dee, I didn't mean to
Um,
cut you off. Was that what you were going to say? Was that Abigail was distracted by the weasel?
Yeah, because it's
Okay.
cute.
Yeah. So go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, there is a lovely weasel that is going to slink out, and he is going to crawl on down, and there's a little bit of fey magic that seems to be uh, just sparkling off his body as he has a bit of an influence from myself, but also his previous owner, Rin.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I will use mold earth to kind of help him out so that he doesn't get crushed as he's trying to dig his way in there.
Yes.
Appreciated.
So, Abigail, one thing you notice as Merlin kind of very eagerly kind of scampers down, making these adorable little squeaks. You can see the nose going a mile a minute, kind of honing in as a magical familiar, honing into that source of magic, almost like you can see the sparkles in Abigail's eyes, right? As she begins manipulating the earth. But you can see this poor, well-meaning weasel is doing his best, but he's not doing a very good job. So you just kind of manipulate a little bit of magic. He is none the wiser, but you take the earth and you can hear the rumbling of stones at earth as the stones kind of rattle together and start to separate. And Merlin gets very excited and eventually kind of dips down into a little hole that you have created and emerges with something in his mouth. And there is sort of this pulse of energy, and that those bioluminescent mushrooms just start to dull as Merlin kind of takes this, what appears to be a silver ring with this filigree around it that emits an aura on the outside of it that is just, it's almost sort of like pushing this element of, it's almost like pushing this cold air off of it. Almost.
But it doesn't look like it's hurting him, right?
Correct. Merlin looks like maybe like you can see his fur is a little bit like he's a little chilly, but kind of runs over to makes his way over. But his cheeks look very comfortable, and his face looks very comfortable where he's kind of clutching the ring. But you can see the back of his fur seems to be, the cold air is, it's almost contradictory in a way, whatever this magic is.
Okay. I will fly back over whenever he brings the whatever the item is back up to our friend.
Okay, all right. So Merlin kind of scampers around over to Clem, and Clem, you kind of see it. That's got this ring, and this ring has this sort of intricate filigree pattern around it in an old language. What languages do you speak?
Who?
What language is it?
My apologies. What as Clem kind of picks it up and
Yeah.
did you pick it up out of Merlin's mouth?
Yeah, I just speak Common, Sylvan, and Goblin.
Okay, all right. So it's definitely a language that Clem doesn't recognize. You pick it up and you can feel that almost like it's pushing cold air towards you. It's very strange. Well, you have it in your hand and you can feel this sensation of warmth in the middle as this, and it's not freezing. It's just this the the temperature around it sort of matches the chill of the Underdark, but the center of the ring is somewhat warm.
Interesting.
Is the language...
Yes.
I mean, I probably know what it is, but my character doesn't.
Right.
I know Common, Infernal, and Celestial.
Okay. As you can see, Abigail kind of peeking around over Clem's shoulder, you can see it definitely has writing you recognize. There is Celestial writing on the outside, but also there are 2 layers of script. One, the outside, the Celestial, just says, by the divine winds, and below it there is another language. Do any of the 3 of you speak Primordial?
I was gonna say that's the one I would have guessed. Does
Yeah.
Terra?
Probably.
Good
I think so.
question.
Or more specifically, does Terra have an inkling about Primordial based on
Terra?
some other incurrent?
It says she's got Primordial on here.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
she should.
Genasi.
Yeah, okay. So as you're all like, what? There is that celestial writing that says by the divine winds, but then that's sort of like on the top part of the ring, and then in very bold symbols around it, there is Primordial. And Terra just kind of looks over and just kind of grabs it and very casually looks at it, and it says, well, it's 1/2 of a... What was the first part again?
I will repeat it back to her.
Okay, and she just... In that case, by the divine winds, the elements of old will forever keep you safe from the chill of the cold. Is the rest of it in Primordial. And she kind of hands it back to... Very happily, kind of hands it straight out back to y'all.
Cool, thank you. It's
It's more of a... But Primordial is very simple, so I kind of added some context there. It's very like... It's more like ideas and concepts. So I just kind of paraphrased into... Sounded like a clever saying, but you get the idea.
yeah. It
I
rhymed.
thought it was pretty.
Oh, thank you.
So is it like a ring of warmth, essentially?
It is something that you would have to identify.
Oh, come on.
You're on the right track, though.
Well, none of us have identify as far as I remember, so
Nope, and we have to take a short rest to do it. So
Yes, because we clarified last time, declarified last time.
yes, because I
Well-
think I already have something to identify. So just add it to the pile.
Yeah, we
I
got a whole
mean,
stack.
Well, you
I could
are
just-
resting here, so you can just if anyone has the ability to ritual cast identify, you can certainly do so.
I mean, I could just put it on and wear it and figure out what it does that way.
If you want, yeah, you can give it a shot.
That it's an exceptionally Clem way of identifying things.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, if it's cursed, I'll let you know if it's cursed, but
Yeah.
otherwise, you know,
Exactly.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Not everything can be cursed, right?
Yeah, I guess that's one way of putting it.
I like the way, as a DM, I like the way you think. Please try everything on. It definitely makes for a more interesting campaign.
Besides, I don't
Yeah.
think I have any magic items anyway, so... Well, no, I
Yeah.
do. No, I do. I have the swimming one.
Oh yeah, that was I think that was from a tarot card, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Totem of the Ocean Lord.
Yeah, I had to restart my computer, my laptop, not this one, but my third screen. Hey,
Oh, and
over
I have
here.
Krull's Great Axe too.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
But that thing
While
hates me because it's all for dwarves, right?
I think that was dwarven ancestry weapon, I believe. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
while the Clem and Abigail are investigating up the collapsed column, Simeon is going to go and sort of just pass around the back corner,
Hmm.
and just sort of scout out the place, make sure everything is okay. If this is in fact where we're going to start taking a rest, he wants to sort of scout out and make sure that everything's okay around here.
Sure thing. Go ahead and give me a perception check, please, as you kind of scout around the exterior.
I know how to do that. Hold on. Nat 1.
Oofta.
Yeah, seems pretty safe. It definitely seems pretty safe.
Cool. Well, in that case, I'll keep going around and making sure everything's cool.
All right, yeah, just kind of doing a general cursory glance of the surrounding area, but yeah, so the rest of the matrons kind of filter in, as well as the forward advance host, and you know that sort of just behind you, the rest of House Neve begins to filter in as well. And whenever y'all are ready to end the day, just let me know and we will fast forward. Or if there's anything else in particular that you want to do in the temple, you can also let me know. But the choice is yours. Your
I'm
mushroom boy kind
gonna.
of saunters around. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna put on the ring and lay against the base of the statue and get ready to take a nap.
All right. As soon as you put the ring on, you immediately get this sensation that washes over you, like putting on a warm blanket, fresh out of being maybe draped over the fire.
I'm never taking this thing off.
It is warm and cozy and snuggly, and no matter what you do or how comfortable, or no matter what you do or how you shift, that warmth just keeps you at the perfect temperature, and it's a very nice feeling.
I'm gonna jump into the very freezing subterranean water and then hop out and see how that feels.
Okay, so the rest of you watch as Clem just jumps into the Underdark River, into the brackish waters. Just you can go ahead and roll a D100 for me. Okay. As you sort of descend into the depths and just jump into the frigid water, there is another rush of warmth as essentially debris of rocks and detritus is blown into your face. This is a hotbed of underground hot springs. Can you make a dexterity saving throw for me? Call it a DC 13 dex save.
Okay, do.
All right.
11, but I do have lucky footwork. Can that potentially apply?
Yeah, so you can sort of swim frantically to try to avoid the hot spring geyser that is sort of erupting in this river below you.
I had 2 to make it a 13, so...
Okay. All right, you take 4 points of fire damage, as this is unfortunately a ring of cold resistance and not a ring of fire resistance.
Okay,
As you
that's
just
fine.
just underwater. It's hot. and it's sort of coming up in just enough so that it doesn't necessarily bubble too much on the surface. It's running water, so anything that does come up would be sort of carried, you know what I mean, carried back with the motion of the flowing
Yeah.
river. But no, there's a hot spring here, several of them, so little underground geysers, and you're like, oh my goodness. So you're a little scalded. And there's a long crevice that is sort of consistently spewing this superheated water.
I'm gonna take the ring off to just enjoy the water if it feels comfortable.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, you
And if
can
it doesn't,
you can swim to sort of to the side. You can see as you surface, Clem looks a little bit hurt, but is still determined to have a good time. And the first D100 was a 6085, right?
yes.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, the matrons kind of just saunter over as Clem kind of emerges from the river. I'm just going to put you over here a little bit. You don't need to remove the ring, but you definitely, once you're out of the area where the underground ravine had sort of opened and is spewing that superheated water, it's pretty comfortable. The water itself is otherwise ice cold, so it generates, you're warm on the outskirts of the water, and with the hot springs, it's strangely comfortable. It's like jumping into a hot bath. It's pretty nice. But the matrons kind of saunter over, and Griana just kind of a little concerned runs over and just, do you always jump into dark, brackish waters in the Underdark?
No, this is my first time, and I recommend just going for maybe don't dive all the way deep in, but otherwise the surface is nice and comfy.
A hot spring, then.
Yeah, come take a dip.
Abigail gets a little brave and she doesn't jump in, but she kind of flies over to like this little area and just ever so gently dips her toe in.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of just fly over and you just kind of dip a toe in, and as described, the water on the outside is over here. It's a little, you can tell how cold the water is, but there is an element of warmth coming from the center of this underground river right about where y'all are. It also probably makes sense why there was a temple here. If there's a natural hot spring, that would be ideal for bathing. That would be a
Right.
great spot to set up a temple. Kind of like a blessing of fire and water and earth and cold and ice. Of all things combined into one.
Makes sense. She is, however, seeing how cold it is, just gonna quickly back up and just kind of hang out on the edge and go. You just enjoy yourself. I'll stay over here.
You can see Matron Zelray and all of her new glory, art by Tora Draws, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and share the new art and new token.
Ooh, yes,
Very lovely.
like it.
Yeah. Whoops. Somehow I opened a Bing search in Roll20. That was a first.
No.
And also there's a little quote from Zelray in here as well. Which I was like, I really liked that thing that I wrote here for Zelray. And then we did the lore change, but now that we're back, it makes a little bit more sense. A little quote from Matron Zelray, but she immediately, but as you're dipping the toe in, you can see her just immediately dive in. Her armor has already been sort of placed to the side and just splashes into the water in a perfect forward dive with the form like an Olympic swimmer, just right in. Matron Henri kind of levitates above and sort of levitates herself down the top of this dais is about 6 feet up off of the ground, but she just kind of levitates on top of it and sits one leg over the other, crisscrossed, and just observes. Brianna actually takes her boots off and just sits by the side of the water here, kind of looking in, reflective. And we have a couple of art packs, temporary, for the other matrons. Matron Aonray.
Ooh.
And this is Grayana is very, very close to what the final product is actually going to look like. Matron Aonray is going to look a lot more sagely, and as Jaheira says, "You're wise and wizened elder."
Please, you're only one of those things.
Yes, don't tell me which. I'm old enough to know not to ask.
God, I love that line.
Me too. I have OCD, so I have also heard it way too many times. So I'm like, I want to make sure I get all the dialogue for like one of my favorite characters. Junior also kind of cozies up by the side of the rock and rubble, kind of plants his roots in the loose rubble and just kind of sways there a little bit, soaking up the steam. And you can see when you really look, little bouts of steam occasionally just wisp across the surface of the water and down the ravine to the distance.
Pleasant.
It's very quaint and pleasant, yes, indeed. The matrons are very like, they're kind of looking at each other like, wow, we should have spent more time down here or explored it more.
Yeah, no kidding.
But part of their lore is that they kind of fled from the Underdark in sort of a diaspora to come to the surface, and they abandoned a lot of the things that were down here and settled in Shadowdale, only to have it taken from them but a century ago by the other denizens of Hillsfar, the usurpers, and then officially now controlled by the Hillsfar Alliance.
Yeah, but after a bit of swimming, I think I'll just shake everything out of my fur and get ready to settle down for sleep.
I'm gonna say there's probably a moment where, as you're getting out, Terra probably would jump on you and tackle you into the water again. That seems very much.
I would not even resist it. I would just let her do that.
Totes. All right, so shortly thereafter, Clem kind of makes her way back over to the stonework and sets up a bedroll. And Clem, I'm not asking for any other reason other than to set the tokens, but your AC is 14, right?
No other reason.
I'm just checking. I had to check. Yes, it is 14.
Okay.
Because I think I updated my token myself. Yeah, because it has the 63. Oh, you're right. Because you usually put the AC in the blue circle, right?
I personally usually put the AC in the red. Blue is usually like an extra number for me. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
cool.
why. It looks more aesthetically pleasing to me. I don't know why. 283. They have also healed up, so we can set them back to. Yeah. Okay. Zolray? Sorry, see, I think I made it a little higher than it was. Some custom armor. Yeah, blood forged. Okay. All right. The other matrons kind of saunter back as well. All right, so Clem is turning in for the evening along with Terra. Anyone else? Abigail or Simeon? Y'all doing anything else in the ruins?
I am gonna take some time to sit with the ring that we found. It was the The golden ring with setting like a crown and an amethyst in the shape of a brain. I'm going to kind of sit with that and see what all I can identify. Using that short rest mechanic that we talked about a couple such like I think a session ago, but a couple weeks ago.
I want to make sure this is the... Yep, okay. All right. So throughout the course of the night, as the rest of the spearhead here filters in to the temple and sets up camp for the evening, you are able to identify this as it is what you think it is. It is a ring of mind shielding.
Fancy.
Yeah. Very powerful, very fancy. And you have a moment where you're identifying it and having it sort of be lost in the Underdark and sort of being guarded by this zombified beholder. It kind of makes sense. Beholders are very strange and interesting, and even zombified beholder still maintains some elements of that powerful largesse of their personality. It's almost sad in a way that this corrupted beholder sort of clinging to false life and found this ring of mind shielding and kind of added it to its collection.
I will definitely, for the moment, I'll slip it on my finger, but in the morning, Abigail will let everybody know, and if somebody else wants it, she will pass it over to them.
Okay, so yeah, you all are aware now that Abigail has found a ring of mind shielding amongst the zombie beholder's treasure trove. Leave a shout out to our friends over at the Lord Bayron. Hello. Thank
I'm
you
gonna
for
see
lurking.
if Merlin finds me extra cozy because of the ring of cold resistance, or if it's just a feeling that I feel.
Merlin doesn't seem to be particularly cozy more than they usually are. So very likely it seems to be something that you specifically are experiencing with this with this ring.
Okay.
But even with the cold air around you, you feel perfectly comfortable. And with the two writings melded into one, might be more than meets the eye here.
As long as it's not bad.
Doesn't appear to be. No, not at least not yet.
Nothing ever appears to be.
Right. Exactly. Like the cursed totems that y'all have been picking up along the way. some good magical items, some cursed items, a hand of some kind of a multiversal necromantic figure.
Simeon basically is going to just sort of finish his patrol and then take the first watch.
Okay. All right. And after that, the rest of y'all turn in for the evening?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So Simeon, on first watch, you are joined by the matrons, and various phases of contemplation and preparation seem to be keeping to themselves. You can see Zolre is ceremonially sharpening her blades. Matron Henri is now sort of crisscross applesauce, sort of meditating above this statue. She has sort of ascended about 30 feet in the air and is just kind of levitating there, meditating. There are these sparkles of this shimmering cloud of iridescent sort of magic that sort of keeps her aloft, and that cloak that seems to have the stars set amongst it. It's almost like you can see into her cloak and see into the astral plane. It is a sight to behold. And Grayana is sharpening her arrows, tuning her bowstrings, and you can see little motes of magic occasionally come from her fingertips as she just kind of, without pulling the string too taut, just enough to kind of gauge it, and is practicing her arrow notching. Sometimes with the bow, sometimes without, just this fluid motion that she practices over and over and over again. Little motes of shadow occasionally just from her fingertips as she does. But the evening is otherwise uneventful. And the rest of the matrons offer to take watch for the rest of the party, unless there is something that Simeon wishes to discuss with the matrons, or anything that anyone else wants to do throughout the evening while on your various watches, should you choose to take a watch with the matrons.
No, nothing from Simeon.
Okay, all right.
Nah, I think Abigail's good.
Okay. You can see by this point, Junior has sort of descended sort of half in the water and is sort of undulating in approval of the hot spring. Seems to be very happy.
Oh, he likes it.
He really does. He's kind of just like, he's vibing.
He's slowly boiling himself.
Yeah.
Stop.
No,
Lightly
no.
cooked.
He's on the periphery, Nick. He's on the periphery. Oh.
Just shoot some grease that way.
No.
Stop. Don't do
Yeah.
that to him.
No, our poor boy. Our poor boy.
I'm just trying to help him in his world domination plot.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, anything
I
that's...
think I'll-
Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, I'll just it's more to spend some time with Tara, probably try to learn some stretches and stuff from Tara, really just vibe and get into the mindset of whatever we're gonna have to deal with next.
Oh yeah, no, she's
Mhm.
happy to do some exercises with you. She's got like a 60-minute late night workout routine that she does, and you're like, you know what I mean? Maybe struggling a little bit to catch up. But she's like, come on, this is easy.
And I'm sure I'd probably just use one of my remaining rages to try and keep up and
Oh yeah.
see if I can egg her on to shark out just to compete with me.
No, she's strange. She is certainly not strangely, but she is certainly composed through the evening. There is something about, you can see Tara is spending a lot of time really communing with the residual monastic energy that dwells here, and even though she does do her typical workout, she does seem to be in awe of this place, and it's hard for her to meditate and soak it in because she's very excited at the prospect of reading the primordial scriptures, which she describes as essentially just the story of the old temple of the four elements, and of a time where the elements were worshipped above all other deities, something very ancient and organic about the worship of the elements themselves, the rising of the sun, the changing of seasons, the blowing of wind. Now, a lot of the other gods sort of adopted the elements into their portfolio and gradually almost sort of manipulated the elements in a way to benefit their own pantheons and machinations. But she would be relaying all of that to you.
Well, Clem loves a good story, so that'll calm him down, and then he'll probably just do his best to be respectful and retain all of it.
Okay.
But then eventually he'll probably just pass out because
Mhm.
he's tired. Tired from all this walking.
Okay. All right. And if that's it, you can take a long rest, and you can all go ahead and mark off that long rest box as the night otherwise passes uneventfully.
Anything bad from attuning to this ring?
No, the ring is not cursed. You're just very toasty warm. But by the time you wake in the morning, you have a much better idea of what the ring actually is. It does not require attunement. It is a ring. It is both a ring of warmth and a ring of cold resistance.
Oh, so it's a
Oh.
double.
Yes, because I know that they are slightly different, but it is
Mhm.
thus the celestial and the primordial language makes sense. This seems to be a powerful ring that was crafted here, likely in a forge somewhere in the Underdark when this temple was at its heyday.
What is the difference between them?
I'm actually gonna look that up.
The difference between cold resistance and warmth?
Yeah, because I think the Ring of Warmth gives you cold resistance.
It does,
Wow.
but there's a little bit of extra like fluff stuff for
Yeah,
for the Ring of Warmth.
You don't
Yep.
die while you're free in the cold area.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah,
while wearing this ring, you have
everything.
resistance to cold damage, which is a ring of cold resist. But in addition,
Mhm.
you and everything you wear and everything you carry is unharmed by temperatures up to minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
There you go.
So
Okay.
it's essentially this. It's essentially there is some redundancy here, but you can actually, by speaking the words on the side, you can activate certain parts of it and sort of experiment with the magics in it
Okay.
and around it. It is a very powerful, very ancient, and simple in a way. It's just more some of the combination of the types of rings between the celestial and the primordial. It makes a lot of sense considering that some of the oldest forces, it might even be ceremonial in a way, and it might have significantly more value than either of the two. And you're starting to kind of piece things together, and the dragons and the elementals, were the oldest forces in Abertoril in Faerun. And this site may have had even more significance with a higher history check. But you're starting to kind of piece that together and getting some more context to that. This mix of celestial and the history, and even Terra says that there are some mentions about the imagery here being that of sort of a meeting of cultures, a meeting of these two orders here, and that they're beyond the battle that was fought here much later. There is definitely more that she's finding about sort of a union between a meeting place between celestial and primordial, likely having to do with the two monastic orders, that of Bahamut and that of the Four Elements.
Is this morning when this is happening?
Yep, this is morning. Well, actually, it's more of sort of late afternoon because you pushed a little bit. You pushed through on the first couple of nights, so to adjust your schedule, so that way you could emerge around midnight, giving yourself enough time to try and take the Shadow Tower with your small elite force. You know that the rest of the host that travels with you, the rest of House Geneve, once you get to the catacombs below Shadowdale, the 100 or so other warriors that have followed you here are planning on separating and causing a distraction inside the walls, or the hastily constructed walls of Shadowdale themselves, because Shadowdale was not traditionally a walled settlement, but you know that a sort of brick and mortar wall has been constructed over the past several years, over the past 2 to 4 years by the Hillsfire Alliance around Shadowdale as sort of a defensive bulwark. It was a project that was started 4 years ago, but really ramped up about 1 year ago in earnest. But within the walls of Shadowdale, the remaining forces of House Neve plans to stage a distraction inside the walls, kind of allowing you to better infiltrate the Shadow Tower and complete your mission. Whether or not they survive is a sacrifice that many of them have volunteered and are willing to make to allow the matrons to reclaim the tower. There is also about another 100 or so retainers that have either stayed at the caverns or who are following behind with another smaller squadron of soldiers to protect the civilians and non-combatants. But that's the general idea. Let me know when y'all are ready to proceed.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Gonna group everyone together here.
Just trying to see if there's anything else we would want to retain from this place.
And let me know if there is.
Probably don't want to disturb it more than we have, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're moving on?
Onward and upward.
Okay. All right. It is... Hang on 1 second. Okay, sorry. Just had to read an important text. All good. All right, so it's about... By the time you get moving, you're essentially on my weekend schedule, which is about getting up around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're up around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you are making your way through the remainder of the tunnels into the catacombs. And you can see that the Underdark, you can almost sense the change in elevation as you are traversing upwards and onwards towards the surface. And it is about 6 to 8 hours with breaks in between before you finally start to reach what appears to be old and ancient catacombs with elvish writing adorning these beautifully crafted archways. Within the walls there are these arches and these entombed stone sarcophagi of ancient Drowish citizens and matrons and siblings that have been interred here with great respect. And the closer you get to the surface, the further you traverse down these ancient dark tunnels themselves, the more you can see that after right around the 8-hour mark, a lot of these sarcophagi and tombs have been damaged, desecrated, looted, and you can hear the matrons kind of seething with anger as you continue to traverse upwards and through the catacombs, until finally, right after the 8-hour mark, you come to a large open chamber with ancient stairwells on either side of this sort of square chamber that sort of lead up and spiral up into an upper level. And at the far end, there is a secondary chamber. The matrons move into that one. And there is a smaller, maybe about a 30 by 30 circular domed room. And in the center of that room, there is an old ladder that sort of climbs up into an ascent. Everything is otherwise dark and quiet. The occasional sound of dripping water or a rat or two that scutters across the debris and the stonework that litters the ground here in this ancient antechamber. In both of the chambers are more of the interred, more of the dead, and you can see that many of the Drowish stonework, many of the Drowish memorials have been broken or shattered and replaced by that of other individuals who have interred their own dead here in the open spaces. The matrons sort of continue to see, then you have this moment where you can just kind of see the desecration and the lack of care that has been enacted upon this once sacred place. Shattered candles, little bits of wax, stonework, and masonry that has been shattered and left to rubble, either been replaced or tossed aside. In the central chamber, more remnants of ornate, larger than usual sarcophagi that have been all but completely destroyed, thoroughly looted and claimed by the forces that now dwell in Shadowdale. It's empty for the reason that there is nothing left to plunder.
But they still put bodies here, essentially.
It's very likely that some of the bodies that have been placed here are average, common citizenry, that perhaps those there are those that have been interred, but not with any grand pomp or circumstance. It's very likely that not after they plundered the crypts, that common burials, those who couldn't afford a burial, those who couldn't afford to be interred in a cemetery or graveyard, or interred with a casket, or perhaps criminals or others were very kind of hastily wrapped and sort of interred haphazardly in this area where once, as the matrons would have relayed to you, the most prestigious of royalty once dwelled.
But it must mean that we're at least close enough to the city where there could be people
Yes.
at least patrolling around here, so
Yes.
trying to keep an eye out for any potential people we might stumble on. I at least would have my weapons out, both of my hand axes, just in case we need to take someone out quickly.
You have a moment where Matron Aunray kind of snaps her fingers and lights sort of this dull shadow flame, and all the braziers in both the square chamber that's about maybe 40 by 40 and the smaller circular chamber that is maybe about 30 feet in circumference, and you can really see the damage that has been done and the sort of haphazard care with which those that seem to be less than or were kind of interred here without any ceremony of their own, kind of just essentially stashed here. The matrons just stand in sort of expected but stunned silence as their retainers and their elite warriors start to filter into the chambers to observe the disrepair and desecration that has occurred here.
Simeon isn't nearly as protective as Clem is about this. He's just sort of keeping an eye out, make sure there's nothing untoward through here.
Okay, can I get perception checks from everyone? 17, 12.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. As you all kind of start to examine the chambers, and there are tunnels that sort of branch off to the side. Other than what was described, you all, especially Simeon, you see more of the same. Some of the rest of y'all might be just as in awe and shock as the matrons, but Simeon, you can see that the ladder itself is sort of a newer addition. Not within days, but maybe a decade or so. It's old steel, rusted, has sort of been placed, and you kind of look up to the ladder and you can see that there is a almost like a manhole cover that's in a circular but very ornate cover that sort of leads up and above. Wherever this leads, the occupying force has placed a ladder so they can get up and down. And then there are also on either side of the square chamber those sort of spiral stone stairwells that sort of lead up and above. With your 17, very likely into a mausoleum, this of some kind. The matrons would affirm that, whereas the ladder very likely ascends into a portion of the street, and the matrons would also probably back that up if you were to ask them.
And the
Actually, they do. They affirm that the street level should be directly above, and that they specifically chose this path to come to this chamber. You can also see the rest of the retainers and some of the soldiers and warriors of House Derneve as they filter in. They all take a moment to sort of pay respects in stunned silence before bowing their heads and filtering to either of the two tunnels that extend into darkness en route to their mission.
now the sort of ornate manhole cover that's at the top of the ladder.
Yep.
Does it have any pierce work through? Is the sun shining? Or is there light coming through it, or is it just solid?
It is solid, but with your 17, you can see that there is moonlight that is coming through just some of the cracks around it.
In that case, I think Simeon is going to sort of look back and go, well, I think this is our time. And he's going to go ahead and climb up the ladder and get ready to open the hatch.
Before you do, Matron Onray puts a hand on your shoulder. You can see her stoic eyes filled with rage and sadness and unimaginable grief and despair. Other than your motion and your action, there is just rageful silence that seems to sort of permeate the air. A tension and anger that is almost palpable, that you can feel. The matrons kind of look back and forth between all of you. And in the silence, and the dark purple dim light, the magic dim light that now glows in the braziers of the destruction that has been wrought by the usurpers, Matron Onray turns to all of you and says, "This is it. Once we ascend, there is no going back. We have come at last, after our long day's journey, to the streets below Shadowdale. When we emerge in the town square, we will have to act quickly. We will make our way to the estate in the center of town, and beyond that, I'm trying to think of not necessarily a town square, but if there's like a circle, like a town circle. It's not a green because there's no grass, but what would that be called?
Marketplace, maybe?
Plaza.
Plaza, thank
works.
you.
There you go.
Thank you. We make our way past the manor, through it and into the central plaza. There's a great fountain at the center of 3 matrons of old, not us, the first of us to ascend to the surface. Our grandparents. Beyond that, the imposing visage of the Shadow Tower, left in improper hands and in the hands of a betrayer, one of our own who brought us to ruin. There's this intense emotion in all of their eyes as she speaks. Some of them appear as if they're shaking or moving or just trying to get the last of the jitters out of the nerves. Even those that continue down either of the tunnels bow and pay their respect to the matron as she speaks. Mostly to you. You have but one chance. I know you have come this far, but it's very likely that we will be killed if we do not succeed in a most gruesome fashion. I pray and hope that it does not come to that, but if you come with us, if you help us enact our vengeance, you will have whatever it is that you seek, and an ally for eternity. Will you affirm to follow us into the breach? You of the Storm Watch, as you call yourselves.
My plan is to win or die with you.
The Stormwatch stands with House Dernive. When we find the traitor, do you wish to do the honors, or shall we eliminate them as fast as possible?
They think for a moment.
Revenge is yours. I will not take it from you. They will die with House Dernive on their, with the wrath of House Dernive on their the point of my sword.
They nod stoically at you, say, "It would be ceremonious, but do not let him escape by any means." By this we hold you to a sacred oath. And they all hold hands, the 3 of them, and begin to speak. Together they chant, "The matrons 3 return to thee. From hither thither thine eyes doth see. With blade and board and blood of 3 doth vengeance taken set us free." You can feel like this chill creep through the room as they say that. And the room just gets a little brighter. And the flames in the braziers seem to intensify. The matron turns to you one final time. "Onward, Stormwatch." Kind of looks up, begins to levitate. Makes her way up the ladder as the other 2 matrons follow behind. Do you all proceed?
draw up my hood and follow up the way.
You can hear the shifting of stone as Matron Aunray moves her fingertips, and this ornate hatch cover just moves slowly to the side. You begin to emerge one by one, but there is something blocking your way. The matrons sort of filter up, but there is this wooden structure that seems to have been boxed in around this entrance. And there is this foul smell that sort of pervades down into the lower levels as you emerge under this wooden structure. How to proceed?
As quietly as I can, for sure.
Well, there is currently a wooden structure blocking your path.
Yeah, that's...
The matron, it's sort of encased. Maybe you have to almost crouch down, and there's a
Mm.
foul smell coming from above, and the sound of something like creaking.
that's ominous.
How big is basically the room we are now in?
Well, it seemed to be on the street, but you're encased in, maybe it is 4 or 5 feet off the ground, perhaps.
I'm going to send Merlin, if possible, to see if he can scout out if there's like a trap on top. Just in case they were anticipating us coming this way, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, I would say Merlin kind of. There's really no way out of this wooden structure. You send Merlin to kind of take a peek. I would say make a perception check with Merlin as your eyes are adjusting to the surrounding dark.
Let's see. Is there...
Or you can.
Weasels have a +3 to...
Ooh, hell yeah. Okay, roll a d20 plus 3. Well, the first one
rolled
was
an 8. Oh,
14.
17, sorry.
Okay, yeah. Merlin kind of points out what appear to be 3 wooden latches at various intervals above your heads in this small boxed chamber that you find yourselves in.
I will use one of my magic awarenesses to make sure there aren't any weird spells or things that are affecting these locks. Maybe they're trapped or anything else about this might be magical. Otherwise,
Okay.
maybe it's all just mundane.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you open your mind to magical awareness, and there's nothing other than what you have on your persons.
DM, real quick, can you give me a rundown of like what the area looks like again?
Yeah, so it's sort of like you're coming up in what appears to be sort of like a wooden structure that has been built over this cover
Mhm.
that you almost hitting. You have to crouch down, and then there are 3 latches above you.
Hmm. The how do I want to say this? So, like the manhole area that we were in, like the tunnel or shaft, if you will, that we're climbing up. To either side, is there like unworked stone or anything like that?
So it's I would say go ahead and make an intelligence check for me. Because you're kind of boxed in. You could have made your way up here, and you're like boxed in by these wooden planks that have been sort of this wooden plank-like structure with interconnecting boards that has been
Gotcha.
built about 5 feet tall.
How wide is it?
It is maybe about, I think width is probably maybe 25 feet across and maybe only about 5 to 6 feet wide or so.
Okay.
And with the creaking, and you see Merlin kind of has a hand on one of the latches. Abigail, you know exactly what's going on. This
Mhm.
is this is an executioner stage.
Hmm. I will quietly whisper that this is an execution stage and there might be a crowd.
There is no crowd.
Oh, we don't hear a crowd. Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely no crowd, just that swaying. And the moonlight that filters through
Lovely.
the boards.
Oh.
As you all as Abigail relays that and you all quiet, waiting for a trap, you don't hear anything but the swaying, and as you focus your senses, you can hear an occasional distant conversation or a laugh or a chuckle, maybe the occasional shuffling of boots in the distance, but nothing that seems to be particularly aggressive or alerted to your presence, just mundane
So this is like
activity.
just a trap door for something to fall through, essentially.
No, it seems like once Abigail has related that they just kind of constructed a makeshift executioners. I don't know what the specific name for it is, but for hangings.
Like a gallows?
Yeah, gallows. This is a makeshift
Okay.
gallows.
So there's no like trap door for like the chair to fall through or like the feet to fall through kind
There
of
are.
thing.
Those were the
That's
3.
what the latches are.
Yep.
That's what those are. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but it sounds like there's definitely sounds like there's at least one body swaying above, but
Yeah.
probably intentionally was raised up above and the lashes closed.
okay, because I'm wondering if there's like a mechanism to open these trapdoors, like a lever or something like that. Like
Uh,
you pull the lever and the
Probably on
Things
like
fall
maybe the
through?
top side.
Yeah, well, it's pretty rudimentary, so you can take any tool and just open up the lever, open up the latches.
Okay, yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah, just if there's a rope or fucking whatever, I'll just
Yeah, it's otherwise sort of like constructed wood. It's not
Mhm.
anything that you couldn't break out of, but you can very easily, with any basic tools, just pop open the latches.
okay.
Simeon's gonna pop out his thieves' tools and.
Oh, there
start
you go.
working
You're
on
the
it.
one with them. I was like,
Yeah.
who of us has the thieves' tools?
And he's just gonna open the one right in front of him and like quietly try it. If it can open up, he's gonna try and quietly
Ooh.
open it up. But if it only comes down, he'll just sort of scoot off to the side and let it come down slowly,
Sure.
quietly.
Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check with thieves' tools at advantage for me. Low DC. Oh, yeah.
17.
Very easy. You're able to open all 3 if you want, but you're able to kind of open the first one and kind of slowly pop it open without making a sound. But as you look up and the sunlight and the sunlight and the moonlight shines through the latch, you can see that there are 3 drowish bodies that have been hung from the gallows that have been sort of placed on display, hoods and all, and they're just kind of swaying there, and you can see the matrons just start to shake. Very likely these are soldiers that were captured or killed during the battles that you fought against the Hillsfire Alliance during the last round of combat assaults during their incursion.
When Simeon sees this, he sort of reaches out to the matrons and places a hand on the nearest one of their shoulders. Soon, but not yet.
You can see,
and then he's going to poke his head out and see what he can see.
Okay, you can see the fire in their eyes as they start to see. Go ahead and make me a perception check as you kind of just pop up. Okay.
13?
Yeah, you can see sort of you're in the center of a great central square. Let me actually pull up the map. Or,
Oh boy, lovely.
So there is sort of in the distance, you can see there is sort of straight ahead to the north, a main road and thoroughfare that sort of ascends, that sort of traverses this sort of raised upper street level. And extends down to a large sort of manor district at the far side that is somewhat heavily guarded by a collection of red plume soldiers, archers, and a mounted patrol the far end of the bridge. But this is about almost a sort of a few hundred feet away. Before this, there is an entire block that is patrolled by soldiers that we're going to get to in a second. But they're at various intervals, but your destination is the end of this bridge.
So we're off the map to the south then?
Correct, yep. That's what you can see in the distance.
In the immediate square where we're at, are there any soldiers in the square?
Yeah, so in the immediate square that you're at, and there's a reason there's no particular map for this immediate section, you can see kind of off to the side, there are some makeshift tables, maybe about 100 feet or so in candlelight. Somewhat by the gallows, there is a group of 2 soldiers. There's a sort of a small bottle of wine on the table. They seem to be playing cards. And up on the closest rooftop, there's an archer on either rooftop to sort of the left and right of you, and sort of a smattering of various patrols and groups of 2 or 3 that are sort of crisscrossing patterns in the street very casually, and they seem to all be on edge. Even the soldiers that are playing cards, they're tapping their legs eagerly, tapping their fingers, taking an occasional swig from the bottle of wine, maybe pressing their hands against their temples. A large host, 10,000 plus strong, is hard to hide. It's very likely they know that the Zentalar is approaching and they are on edge the night before. This is a pre-war combat patrol. They are searching for infiltrators preemptively.
Simeon's going to relay this back to everybody, just basically like 2 guards ahead playing cards, 2 patrols on foot, crisscross, archers in the gallows, or archers in the eaves.
Yeah, overlooking the gallows square.
Watching the gallows.
They're not sort of intensely watching the gallows specifically, but they're up on the closest rooftops, and you can see them, Simeon, as you look down. They're kind of scanning in a 360-degree arc. not specifically like zoned in on the gallows, but you kind of duck down for a second, but you can see them kind of just on the two closest rooftops towards the manor district. They are just kind of patrolling the rooftops to get a bird's eye view in a way, but not specifically watching the gallows. You can see them
so
kind of,
watching the square, not watching the gallows.
Right, but you can see them kind of look over around the gallows and look past it, and you kind of duck back down. You look up and you can see they've kind of turned their gaze to the north towards the bridge, and they kind of walk towards the bridge casually, but still on edge given that this great host is approaching. You can see there's this aura of nervousness, but they're trying to not let it get the better of them.
Now, the gallows that we're on, is it enclosed all the way to the ground, or is it just a platform raised up?
It's enclosed all the way to the ground. They've sort of sealed it in. Yep.
So Simeon's gonna pop back down again and say, okay, I've got a thought, I've got a plan. They're watching down here. What we need to do is make a distraction so that they go away. Straight to the north, it is heavily guarded. They're on edge, looking for something. So we need to give them something to see.
The matron.
You,
Go ahead.
you said that they look to be on edge, right?
Well, I mean, the Zentalara is coming over the mountains. They'll be here tomorrow.
Well, we could play on that. I could send a message pretending to be somebody else checking in, send them somewhere else.
As
Yep.
as you're discussing this, the matrons are just smiling. And you can see that they are seething and they have this fury in their eyes. And the High Matron just says, just wait. Question is, do you wait for her?
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Okay.
said wait.
Okay. She smiles, and you can see her breathing deeply and calmly. And for what seems like an eternity of several minutes, you start to hear bells in the distance, on the periphery, followed by the occasional shouting, panicked shouts in disarray. As you recall, 110 soldiers that were with you were sent into the lateral tunnels beyond the mausoleums to create a distraction. You hear shouts of fire in the distance. And again, the shuffling of armor and boots and weapons, the occasional braying of a horse in the panic, and bells on your periphery. At that, the matrons then defer to you. The High Matron extends a hand and says, now, our next move. We will follow.
Does it look like the guards in the immediate square are responding to that now?
If they're not, they are definitely making their way to the periphery, giving you definitely an opportunity. If you plan and just jump out, you'll definitely get the jump on them.
Speaking of jump, I will cast jump on myself.
Okay.
And that will, if you want me to carry any one of you, I can get us up on the rooftops real quick. My jump distance is going to be a lot higher.
Abigail just kind of points at Junior and says, carry him, don't eat him.
No, I'll be the last to eat him. Don't worry. I'll carry him and keep him safe, and I'll pick up Junior.
Simeon wants to hand his rope to Clem, because he knows he can't jump it, but he can definitely climb it. And just sort of say, when you get to a good spot, tie this off and throw it down.
Okay. I will scramble out of the gallows, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and see if there is a rooftop that isn't occupied. That's basically a good vantage point spot to get to.
As soon as you kind of make your way out with Junior, you can see the closest rooftop to your immediate sort of right, upper right. There is an archer that is sort of looking off to the northeast and is shouting at another red plume soldier. That's going to be your perfect opportunity. As you kind of filter out, Zulray and Grayana. Grayana kind of enshrouds herself in this really thick black smoke and almost disappears in a cloud of this blurry humanoid vision and just off to the same general direction. And you can see Zulray also kind of clamber out and do a little sort of roll off to the side. The cloak that is otherwise sort of bright red on the inside displaces, and she also sort of shimmers into invisibility. And you can see their shapes just kind of scampering up either side of the rooftops.
I'm just
alright,
gonna
well-
follow Clem flying.
Okay.
Simeon's going to use his tactical martial ability to give Clem half his movement again.
Oh.
Okay.
Because
Anything you do now is
yeah.
going to last until we actually roll in it.
yeah, me jumping, so I will get a running start and jump, and my jump with the jump spell is 48 feet, so I believe that will hopefully get me to the rooftop, maybe?
Okay. Yeah, no, you kind of clamber out with Junior. Junior kind of almost like shambling very elegantly over the wood, making himself real small. You're able to kind of wrap yourself around him as you, very quiet, kind of jump up, and Junior kind of latches onto you, and you jump up on the closest rooftop with barely a thud. And you can see very menacingly, sort of right behind you, the sort of wings unfurl from Abigail, just and flying up into the moonlight, almost blocking it out for a moment. This perfect silhouette above the waning crescent, and also heading towards the same roof or a different roof, Abigail.
Well, I saw the archer with him, right? Like he's on that same. I will
Yes.
try and be on the same roof as him, just to, as kind of give him like backup, or try and talk our way out of a situation too.
Okay.
Because I talk.
No, you both have the perfect vantage on this soul solitary archer. So, you can see now on the rooftop, sort of coming up a ladder, who kind of looks right at you, Abigail, is another red plume soldier. Before he can scream, Abigail, what do you do? And Clem, what's your plan? As you kind of zero in with Junior, kind of drop him on the rooftop, and you kind of just roll forward, and you can see this archer. You have the drop on him. Abigail, you have the drop on the other. Describe how you take both of them out, please.
With a little bit of flair, I will cast Maximilian's Earthen Grasp and basically try and get like the loose stonework that is on the that would be like on where we're at on top.
Mhm.
Just kind of basically get it to collapse on him and just crush him before he can make a sound.
Perfect. Go ahead and subtract that. Is that a spirit? Is that a inherent or a spell?
It's a second level spell.
Nice. Okay, go ahead and use a spell slot. And as you do, this individual, before he can even shout, you just kind of take your hands and move them together, and all of your magical potential just surges. And before the gasp can even form, the stonework around just crushes and rattles together and crushes him in the stone in a mix of blood and viscera as the second guard that is being descended upon by Clem.
I will just quickly step over to him, seeing that she's starting the spell. I'm going to go up and grab him because I was holding Junior,
Mm-hmm.
and just use my bunny paws to grab him by the head and snap his neck.
Yeah, in true Metal Gear Solid fashion, just gonna as you hear a snap and a thud, and Junior kind of behind you. Off at the base of the square, you can see Simeon, I believe, weapons drawn.
Yeah, Simeon is going to basically Batman, for lack of a better term, his way out of the little the hatch after everyone else is sort of left up, and he's just sort of going to come over to the two that are playing cards.
Yep, who are standing up now, but looking over kind of in the direction of the rooftop. One of them is like, "Oi!"
And then with both hands, just sort of reach out and just bonk.
Oh yeah, no, you kind of flex your biceps, and with one really good hit, you hear the crack of their heads as you guys kind of as they, some of them are like twitching, and just one of them is like trying to get up and is just like completely wrong in the process, but you knock them both out of commission. You kind of look up to the left, you can see two other archers on the far side kind of come over to the side, and kind of lock eyes before you realize that there is sort of a smoky shape just beside you, and you see Grayana kind of appear with her bow notched and two quick, and both of these two archers on the rooftops, you just hear as the sort of these black sort of sinewy smoke arrows strike one in the chest and another right through the throat. One falls backward, the other falls to the ground with a thud. There is another group of two that are emerging from the side that kind of see this, and from a second rooftop, sort of in the midway point of the block, you can see they're kind of in an alley just emerging. One of them starts to move back, and you just see a flourish of sort of black and just a very quick flash of red as sort of jumping down now has a mask over her face. Zulray leaps down from that second rooftop onto the first one with a dagger right into the back, takes the second one, throws it into the face of the other one, right, and you just see as both bodies drop. She grabs her daggers and scampers up to the side. By your side, Simeon, the High Matron, just walks straight down the middle of the road.
And Simeon's going to follow her.
Okay. As the two on the rooftops reset, you can also, there's a group of three coming from behind. Terra and Ange, as they kind of emerge from behind you, just, hey! The two of them will leap into action, and with expert, there is a sort of a tornado kick and an elbow followed by another snap, and Thamus as a quick 1-2 hit with the mace from behind. The three that were running up are dropped. And as the matron moves forward, Simeon, you by her side, a group of 5 just run out to meet all of you, weapons drawn. The matron now, her eyes glowing with the smoldering white fire, just says in Elvish, in Drowish, no, and just takes and moves her hand, and you can see this pulse of black energy from the center of her hand and this orb that she summons, and just lifts up her arm, and with a flick of the wrist, you can see that orb kind of fly towards this group of 5, and within seconds, all 5 of these soldiers are drawn together, lifted up about 6 feet off of the ground, and their limbs snap, twist, and contort in about 100 different ways in a matter of seconds before they're sucked into a void zone of flesh and bone and viscera in the center, and a wet, gushing sound of death as she just drops the spell and they fall lifeless in a pile. And she just continues moving forward. As she does, you have 2 different alleys to emerge to come on either side of this map, or you can follow her straight up the middle. You are all going to be able to control the 3 sisters here in this fight. And as you approach, that's where we're going to go ahead and take a break. So we'll see you back here in 10 minutes. Right on schedule. We're going to end on time today, right to 12:30, 12:45. We do a round of combat, but we're going to give our Stormwatch players control of the matrons and see what they can do with them. There's one for each of you. So we'll be back here in just under 10 minutes, and we will roll in it and go from there. So we'll see you all back here in a bit. I can count. And we're back. All right. Whew. Exciting stuff. All right, thanks everybody. And we're going to kind of kick things off as the 2 soldiers here just kind of, hey, stop them! As you just walk right up the center, Henri charges up some magic. You all prepare your weapons and magic to attack.
Attack.
Repeat.
Tiki tack.
All
Alright, I
right.
added my initiative as well.
Okay. All right. Make sure you're all on there. Simeon, Abigail, and Clem.
Oh, that
Alright.
is some tragic initiative for the assassin. She's
Yeah.
got assassinate, and she's going after everybody.
Question before we get rolling here.
Yes.
Is Aran Ray actually wearing half plate?
It is, you know, in Baldur's Gate 3 where there's Elven Chain?
Yep.
That's what it is.
This is Elven plate.
Yeah, this is
So it's only
Elven
medium
half-plate.
armor?
Yes.
Okay.
Only medium armor, he says. Some of the best armor in the game is medium armor.
Well, yes, but there's this thing about, you know, being a blade singing elf where you can't do it with armor on.
Yeah,
And medium armor, sadly, is too much armor.
yes.
Wait, hold on,
So-
let me
so
double check
things.
the Elven Chain. Hold on.
I think Elven Chain specifically might be light armor.
'Cause that's-
It's still armor, I believe, so, you know. Oh, no, I'm right. Elven Chain is medium armor.
Oh, that is an oversight. It's supposed to be sort of custom Elven Chain. Hold on. That was an oversight on my part. I think I was using a different stat
worries.
sheet.
I just want to make sure I'm using all of her abilities to the best of her abilities.
Yes. I believe I made this sort of before. It was kind of inspired by Mithril, but then they made it in Baldur's Gate 3. But I always considered it to be light. There is an armor in 5e that does count as light. I can't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head, but it's supposed to be light.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be enchanted, not custom. So yes, it is. And actually that would be also 17. 17, not 18. Okay. Fixed. All right, so that would be first up. On the rooftops to the east, with a perfect view of the battlefield, Matron Grayana Dernive, as controlled by Nick.
Okay.
She has a perfect view of the battlefield as weapons are drawn, swords unsheathed. The horse dramatically neighs and rears as she pulls her first bowstring.
I think she will Oh, so many people. Why does she have to go first? All right, she's going to. She'll see the. Let's see. These are archers on the rooftops, right?
Yep, there's 2 archers and the rest are foot soldiers.
Okay. Um, she will look at the foot soldier off in the distance over here.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they don't alert anyone outside. She is going to use one of her shadow strikes to shoot at that one.
Okay. That will definitely hit.
19.
Yep.
Okay.
They are wearing full plate, but that definitely will hit. Oh, sorry, full to half plate.
Okay, that is 18 damage for the necrotic.
She takes the first shadow strike arrow. You can see a bolt of shadow right into the chest of this soldier at the far end of the battlefield, sort of up and arcs it up and over in a perfect arc. And you hear a and a thump of metal and flesh. He has exactly 18 hit points. Thuds to the ground.
And I think she's going to attempt to hit these 2 over here.
Okay.
So she'll do 2 arrows for each.
Yep.
I don't know. Shouldn't be a third one there, but yeah, 18 and 19.
Yep, those both hit.
For the second one, she is going to use the. Oh, it has to be declared before. Never mind.
No, you
yes.
can add it after. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Because
well,
you're using it for the first time, so it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, then it'll be adding 3d10 to one of the arrows to one of them.
Okay. All right.
Ooh, 24 on the second arrow, so this one gets the extra special one.
Okay. In screaming agony, he is consumed by shadow flame as the other guy here gets hit so hard he drops to one knee. I'm going to consider him prone for the purposes of this fight, as 2 people just died around him and he got hit for all but 1 HP, so he's got the wind kicked out of him. Well, I'm just going to consider him prone here until it gets to his innit. But this soldier just starts screaming and you can hear panic and just hells, and then somebody else just monsters, and there are bells off in the distance. You can hear fires, as you can now see fires off in about 6 or 7 different fires that have started in various portions of the very old wooden structures that are juxtaposed with, as your eyes are drawn to the center, looming before you behind the manor district like an enormous Gothic citadel, an imposing obsidian structure of silvered steel, onyx, and obsidian looms as this giant sentinel in the distance. The shadow tower and its jagged edges juxtaposed with the old ancient wooden buildings looms before you. Is that it for the matron?
She is going to... How high is this building?
This building is about, I want to say, maybe 20 feet off the ground. Where she is on the roof. 20 to 25 feet.
I think she will leap off to land on this guy and kind of use him as a parkour device. Take a precision jump off his head or her head, and continue to move if possible.
Totally. Yeah, I would say make a DC
Athletics, probably.
15 acrobatics check.
Acrobatics?
Yep. Oh yeah. Leaps off and kind of actually knocks this guy prone with over 20 in the process, with a thud,
nice.
with a as she kind of rolls forward and continues on across the wooden footbridge here.
her movement speed is 50, so I mean, how much movement would it be to get from this person to like here? Because I know it's jumping down.
So if you're mid jump, I actually don't count that. If you're jumping and you're able to actually succeed,
Okay.
so that would be 5, 10. So just she
15,
proceeds as
20.
usual. Yep, yep.
Okay. 25,
Mm-hmm.
30, 40.
It's just something that makes sense to me because you're like using your own motion to kind of, and if you could succeed on the check, it's essentially like skipping the extra movement there.
And then just moves right there with her silver bite blade at the ready to
Okay.
engage this person, see what they decide to do.
Outstanding. All right, that would bring us to Abigail Willowshire.
That looks like a group of people. Abigail's kind of watching Griana dart off, and she's like, are we being... I'm gonna assume we're not being stealthy anymore, right? And she's looking at Clement. She's saying this. She's asking you for being stealthy.
At this point, I think we might as well just get what we're gonna get. They're at least fighting now.
Okay. Fireball. And she will center it. Yep, right on this poor dude.
Yeah, fireball! Let's go!
Yay! That's gonna hit all
Right.
those guys.
Yeah.
It hits the man's here. It's these guys back here.
Yep. The winged terror. Let's go. All right, show me fireball.
Fireball is 86.
I'm gonna clip that.
For 36. Not a bad roll. 36 fireball damage.
Woo! Okay. All right. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Red Plume Soldiers. Okay. That is a DC 17 deck save. Oh boy.
Yes.
Oh no! Well, if they succeed, they take 18 damage, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're dead.
You are correct. I don't even have to roll. Describe this fireball for me, please.
She just kind of, as she takes off from the sky, she takes the materials and just kind of like rubs them in her hands and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry."
As this quick ball of flame just very casually from Abigail as she flies above the moon or in front of the moon, you can see and hear at the last second, "Oh, watch out!" as this massive explosion rocks the mostly stone and mostly cobblestone infrastructure here. There's barely any wood. There's a few carts that are going to be ignited, but there is this explosion that rocks the entire township, and you just hear this reverberating rumble, just
Nice.
and then the residual screams. Hold on, I gotta get my favorite fire here. Hold on, fire. There we go.
I love that it's an apologetic fireball.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. That's great.
I feel like she's a little sorry she's lighting so many people on fire, but she aimed it like lower so it's just the soldiers. Like, she's probably mostly sorry that she set like some carts on fire.
True.
This needs to be bigger because it's like yeah.
Oh no, the fire needs to be bigger.
I have more.
That is one of the best uses of fireball I have seen. That's the time you want to use it. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this guy is no longer prone because he's dead. So technically,
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Teeny
he's,
tiny
he's
changes.
dead prone.
yes, yeah, you're technically correct. He's no longer on one knee. Half prone. He is just a pile of ash.
Mhm.
All right.
Oh, I guess she
As-
does feel a little bad for the horse being set on fire too.
Oh, does it hit the horse too?
Oh yeah,
See, all right, let's do the. Oh yeah. Yup.
that's her body.
Yeah. All right. So deck
Is-
save for the but you can see as the fire just engulfs the part of the manor and the horse. Yeah, there it is. All right, let's see. 37. Red Plume Knight mounted. Show me a deck save here. Oh, not 20.
That's okay. We'll take it
yeah.
too.
Yep. Okay. Is able to kind of the horse dramatically just kind of rears, and you can see him kind of try to just get the horse to move at the last second as he also screams. Anything else for Abigail?
Out of curiosity.
Oh, good question.
Oh yeah.
Horse. Yeah, that'll do it for the horse. He's going to be dismounted.
Okay, never mind. Because I was gonna say, can I take a closer look since the horse is still alive? But no, I guess the horse is incinerated.
All right, so it's going to be 18, 24 out of 42. Represent Red Plume Knights. Dismounted. And he's got 24 of 42 HP. AC doesn't change. All right, the horse, unfortunately, is no more. You can hear a
There's a very, very
exasperated
tiny
whinny.
tear for the deceased horse who did not deserve that.
Yes. Here you go. All right. Red Plume Knight dismounted. For those of you that are in the TTRPG and or actual play business, you might recognize this as stock art from iStock Photo. But it works strangely well for Red Plume generics. Fireball. All right. Thank you for pointing that out. Because yes, the horse is unfortunately most definitely no longer with us. And the Red Knight has taken half damage. Anything else for Abigail?
No, just that free action to shed a tear for the poor horse.
Yeah, it is very sad. Horse, you didn't deserve that. Okay, all right. That will bring us to Clem. And would you like for Junior to go right after you, by the way? Or would you like Junior to roll the run initiative, Abigail?
Oh, yeah, Junior can go right after me, although he's up here, so I'm not exactly sure what he can do.
Okay. And your in it was 18. So I'm just gonna
Jump down and get the prone guy.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
that could work.
He will. How high did you say we were?
So he would have to shimmy down. We are about 25 feet up.
Okay, so he will have to dash to get down on the ground.
Yes.
Oh.
So, let's see, 5:30. So if he dashes, yeah, he can close distance with this guy and definitely occupy that guy over there. You can see him very effortlessly shambling down the rooftops and across the pavement, making his way over to the Red Plume soldier, who is trying to get up and just kind of looking up with this terror in his face as the explosion and sort of plume of flame rises into the sky.
Mm. He'll just stand there menacingly then.
Menacing Myconids. All right,
Mhm.
Now that brings us to Clem.
I'm going to move the prerequisite 10 feet to get a long jump,
Okay.
and my jump will take me there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cut across at this guy with my hand axe.
Okay. You got it. As you kind of do this fantastic leap across
13.
13 as the archer kind of just leaps back, your hand axe crashes into the tile of the rooftop. Miss.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to. I'm going to quicken spell
Mm-hmm.
a level 2 chaos bolt at the other archer across
Ooh.
the way.
Okay, all right. Little spicy chaos bolt here.
Uh,
Well, I have good news for you. A 17 will definitely hit as you
Oh, okay.
spin up some
I
elemental
was gonna
chaos
say,
in your fuzzy paws.
I want to try and do a Tides of Chaos on it, though.
If you want.
Okay, so fishing for the crit, but that's fine. And also, because wild magic.
Okay, now for when you use it right away on a spell, do you roll on your own table, on the other table, or does it happen next time? First memory.
you can make me roll a d20, and if I roll a 1, then I get it, but then my next leveled spell is when you can guarantee it.
Okay, so I'll wait till the next level spell then.
Okay. Alright, so yeah, 17 will hit.
Okay. And then show me damage, and also what's the type? Or does it, do you roll to see the type? I can't remember.
That will be when I roll, so I got it. Oh,
Okay.
double 8s? Oh, so
Nice.
double 8s means I get an additional... Oh, I can have it leap and hit a different target within
Ooh,
30 feet,
shit.
make a new
Okay.
attack roll.
Spill over.
Nice.
I'll spill over and get the archer right next to me.
Okay, awesome.
So I need another attack. Make a new attack roll. Okay. Uh, 21 to
will
hit this
definitely
one.
hit. Yeah.
Um, 3 and 2. So the first one is math is hard. Thunder damage on the first one.
Okay. How much
Which will
damage total on the
be
first
19. 19 thunder.
Roll 3d6 for me. Because he's on top of a roof. Okay, you
9.
with the thunder, you collapse the roof below him. He falls through. You hear a crack and a crunch, and no
Oof.
further sound from the rooftop as he
Nice.
falls through the roof into the residence below with a thud, a crack, and some subsequent unpleasant sounds.
All right. The next one in front of me,
Mhm.
it's going to be fire damage. It's going to be 13.
Okay.
13 fire damage.
All right. Roll a d6 for me. Let's see.
A 1.
Okay, so part of the roof does catch on fire. As he starts to screech as you can see almost like in a little miniaturized fireball, just as that bolt kind of swings around, crashes into his armor, and ignites with the force. You have to put your arms up and you can feel your fur singed by the flame as you put your arms up as this archer is engulfed. Anything else for Clem?
I will sidestep and move over here.
Okay, so that would give him an opportunity attack.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So he's gonna make. Actually, let's see. Just gonna fire at you at disadvantage with the longbow. So 10 point blank range. Oh no, it has to be melee. It has to be melee. You're right. So it's gonna be. Yeah. So he can't because he's not gonna change weapons. So never mind.
Okay. I'll just step over to the side
Cool.
then.
All right. Yeah.
But that'll be it for me.
All right. Simeon.
All right. Simeon is going to use his tactical martial ability and let the matrons, or his matron, move 15 feet without provoking with
Okay.
his tactical Too many buttons.
Outstanding.
What-
Which matron? Onray?
Onray, yeah.
Okay. All right. You can go ahead and move Onray if you wish. As she kind of maneuvers gracefully and delicately through the Red Plume soldiers, who are stunned and shocked at the speed and efficiency at which you are slaughtering them.
hmm
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Out of the way.
Just like, what the fuck is happening? They're fucked
They're
up.
comeuppance.
Yes. Yes. We are officially bashing the fash in the most spectacular of ways possible, and I'm here for it.
And Simeon is going to step forward 5 feet and try and
Mhm.
take his 2 attacks against the 2-foot soldiers here in front of him.
You got it. All right. As you draw your weapons and charge.
First one hits a 13.
13, unfortunately, would miss, as the other kind of just at the last second, you do a little thrust, but he's able to kind of just move to the side.
And a 9. So two misses from Simeon.
Okay, it's just a couple of quick thrusts, and they kind of turn to you as their next target, blades drawn and at the ready, doing the only thing that they can do in this moment is attack to try and figure out what to do next by removing the threat in front of them. Anything else for Simeon?
That, I believe, is all, because that was his bonus action to move Onray, and 2 attacks for his full attack. So, yep, that's it.
Okay, all right. Can you roll a d4 for me, Clem, for fire damage? This guy's gonna take a d4 of fire damage. That's a full
4.
He's not having a good day. He just got ignited, and the fire took hold on him with that. So he's gonna try to shoot at disadvantage over at you, Clem. Just make 2 attacks. They're both gonna be at disadvantage.
12 will not hit me.
Okay. And an 8.
Nope.
And I would say the archer's eye, he can't really use that because he's on fire. That really doesn't make any sense. So that's going to be it for the archer. The knight. Oh, geez. Y'all are on the roof. Y'all are up on the rooftops. This guy's fucking confused as hell. He's going to run at the matron, screaming just, ah! It's not going to do too much good. We'll see.
So he's chosen death.
Yes. And is going to use the longsword two-handed twice. Advantage toggle, whisper toggle. I always forget to do that. And again, and he's gonna miss twice. It's just gonna swing. You can see Onray just kind of effortlessly dancing around this guy as he swings and swings again. Really wide.
This
The
is
horse
before
just
she's
died.
even turned on her dance.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, now we've got some soldiers who are both going to make some attacks at Simeon. All right, the first. Soldier. Ooh, I hear a ping. We're getting something. What do we have? Diesel shot! Party of 4! Welcome, Diesel shot. Ooh, as I knock my knee into my desk and knock the cameras around. Hello, Diesel shot. Welcome in. We're almost about to wrap up, but we've got some intense combat happening over here. How was your stream at Diesel shot? What did you have? A dev stream, a playtest? What y'all got going on? Let us know. A little shout out. If y'all haven't checked out Diesel Shot, please do so. They are awesome. Heck yeah. Ooh, D&D. Nice. Well, Sam's is. Definitely good friends of ours. I did a one-shot over there. It was a lot of fun. And Change Stars. Check it out. All right. So the soldiers, the Red Plume soldiers here, are going to try to take the path of least resistance and maybe flee, but try to get through Simeon first. So that's going to be... Oh, they don't have multi-attack.
Tragic.
Yes. They're going to attack with their long swords, one-handed. That's a 13 and a 17.
both miss. Simeon reposts.
Nice. They swing, and Simeon,
Nice.
inspired by High Matron Aunray, kind of doing the dance. You are just as inspired. You can see they're telegraphing. One comes really close. You can feel the wind. And you repost for, is that a guaranteed 7 damage?
No, so that was the superiority die is the bonus I
okay.
add to my attack roll, but I rolled
Oh.
a natural 1.
Would you have inspiration?
I do not.
Oh.
Okay. Unfortunate. Hold on, let's see. Let me see what I can.
Can I give him one of my luck points?
Absolutely, you can. What do
I
you
will
say?
give him
What do you
my
say to
luck point.
inspire Simeon? As you can see him kind of repost, maybe kind of trips a little bit. The other they're kind of swinging, they're missing each other. It's a mess. What do you shout down as the 21 hits? It could just be like a battle cry. It could just be ah!
Damn, look at him go!
Yeah, okay, all right.
18 total damage then.
All right.
Oh,
So
perfect.
yeah. So you kind of do, and you kind of miss the first time, but then you take the rapier and kind of swing it around, and just with one quick slice, you see the perfect opportunity, and you see the next thing you see is a spray of blood that kind of coats you in true sort of edgy Hollywood style, right? Just a line of blood as this red plume soldier grabs at his throat, just drops down to one knee and then the other.
Tarantino perfection.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Tarantino perfection. All right, and the other one is not having a good time. Very likely has soiled themselves. All right, the other one over here is going to try and swing at Grayana, which would be controlled by Nick. It's just going to be... He's going to try and... No, there's still a couple left. The knight's still up. So... I'm just going to swing one-handed for 20, which doesn't hit. She's the most dexterous out of all of them. Just swings,
Yeah.
and you can see her kind of almost displace, and that smoke.
She'll use her parry and counter just so she can get a hit on this guy.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, the
Um,
matrons don't fuck around, y'all. They don't fuck
Nope.
around. They don't play.
And she might as well no, she'll just do the one attack. She won't add any flair to it.
Okay. All right, show me that attack.
That is a 13, which I don't think hits.
Oh yeah, it does. It just kind of clangs off the armor, and she looks a little confused and just but that is, I think, it for the soldiers. I think, yeah, y'all. Oh no, this guy's gonna get up from prone, a little scared at seeing this large myconid just kind of shimmying in front of him. This is going to attack our baby boy.
No.
Oh, no.
Why would you
Roll
do
again.
that?
Oh no!
Roll
again. I'm sorry. Oh,
Well,
11.
no. Roll
Okay.
again.
Silver bars, thank you.
Okay. What whack. Shut the fuck, that's hilarious. All right, what
You just next ask to him.
I'm gonna clip that one too. That's great. We have fun here. Okay, so what do you say? Because what's your silvery barbs when your voice echoes as this guy tries to swing at Junior, and at the last second, these sort of tendrils of magic, you can hear them almost screeching through the air. But what do you say or do to distract them with your magic?
I think what basically happens is her eyes glow pink for a bit, and she
Ooh.
like whips out with these pink tendrils, kind of like you were saying, and she
Mhm.
says, "You will not harm my child." And she then enforces another roll. So at least it's not a crit.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What do we got? Okay. 18.
Okay, still hits, but
Yeah.
not a crit.
Okay, two
Not a
two
crit.
slashing. Just kind of swings and kind of hits, just kind of whacks one of this sort of mushroom appendage that had grown in the Underdark off of Junior. Or just kind of thunk, and you can see a little sort of just a little liquid kind of just come out of the mushroom. Junior just 2 damage, but the red plume soldier just, and you can see as you hear Abigail's voice and hear that screeching, that sort of what she says echoes through the battlefield, and this guy just looks very, very scared. And I think that's it for.
I think because there's a second part of this, right? I can just give that to someone or give advantage to someone else.
Yes, you can.
Does Anray want that? She can have it since she's coming up next.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll take it.
But before, you have control of my favorite assassin, who unfortunately rolled a 4
Zulray
on
goes.
initiative.
Yeah.
Yes, Zulray.
That's okay. Because she can bamf.
Yes.
I think I see. That counts as shadow, right?
yeah, that is definitely obscured.
Well, she will bamf there.
Okay, so on the rooftop you see just a poof of smoke and shadow, just and sort of these shapes start to apparate right next to you, Simeon. And without even looking, Aunray just glares at the knight in front of her who was trying to reset his fighting position and just deadpan stare at the knight in front of her as Zulray is appearing. Hello, sister.
So I guess I have a question because I read the
Yes.
multi-attack and I'm realizing she actually has 2 swords on her.
Mhm.
Is one a main hand and then the other is an offhand? Is that how that's gonna work?
She
like you-
uses she has all of the feats, so she can add her proficiency bonus to either or.
Gotcha. So I could, if I wanted to, make 2 hexblade attacks, or I could make 2 venom attacks, the
Yes.
night venom attacks.
Yep.
Okay. I want to see how they both work, so we're gonna do one of each.
Okay.
So this will be.
And sneak attack.
Is sneak attack already programmed in here, or do I have to add that?
That is a good question.
That
That might
does
have been an
not-
oversight.
It doesn't look like it, but I will go ahead and at least make this first attack with Avantage.
Yep.
With the Venom Blades, because that looks like much more damage. So that'll be a dirty 20, not a natural 20.
Okay, yeah. You let me grab the assassin. Saplock, that is an oversight. Assassin. I'm gonna add that into the character sheet right now in
Okay.
real time. That's gonna be sneak attack. I'm gonna add that in.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if that is if they register that as an attack.
There's this one over here to the left side, which says the assassin deals that much damage, so rather than the one that's under the attack. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yes, yep. Oh, you're right. Oh, it is. Oh, it is over there. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's the one. The one on the left.
Okay, then I will just go ahead and do.
I second guess myself.
Decent con save, but the 10 and then the 23 sneak attack, and if he wants to take some poison damage, he'll make a
Yeah,
save.
yeah. That's it. So on the first of the Night Venom blades, Matron Zulray just kind of does a little flick in her hands. As this guy tries to reset a fighting position, he looks up and he says, "Wait!" And she just right into his armor and kind of pierces perfectly through the center of the plate. And you just hear this gurgling as she just pushes down, and she just grins and pushes him down backwards as he collapses in on himself. Takes the blade out. He kind of vomits this blackened poison that's mixed in with his blood, this fast-acting drowish poison. And that's going to be it for the night. That is a
Cool.
23 sneak attack plus the minimum damage from the blade itself. That'll do it. No con save necessary, because that is more than enough.
Well, I have another attack, and there's another guy here.
There is another boy right behind y'all.
But that is only a 12.
Well, it is, you're right. It is. Oh, Puffles! Thank you. just kind of swings, and this guy just kind of holds up his gauntlet, and it just kind of clangs off of the gauntlet. Just go, and she just also has that same confused look. But as this guy kind of looks at her, she just kind of licks one of her incisors and just kind of points at him expectantly.
Well, that's multi-attack and bonus action. I think she's pretty comfortable there, so she's gonna hang out there.
Okay. All right, Matron Aunray. She does look over at the rest of y'all and at Zulray and just, you're spoiling all of my fun. Simeon, go ahead.
So she's going to basically turn and try and cut down the one fellow behind her. And she's not actually going to bother going into the dance because this, she's lithe enough as it is.
Yeah.
I don't need to bother with this. So it's going to swing at the first soldier behind her. And hit a 27.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a total of 15 damage.
Okay. Yeah, she just kind of throws the blade up, catches it, swings around, cracks this guy in the chest, and you see this searing white light as he does. Screams in pain as the radiant damage begins to burn his skin. For 15.
That means he's still up, though.
Yep. Not for long.
So a second one should finish him off, but
Yep.
hitting a 23.
Okay. Just show me damage this thing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Just kind of takes the blade and just kind of thrusts it right through this guy's, right through the plate, through the stomach, out the other end. As you can see, this sort of miniaturized sort of poof of silvery light as he just, his eyes roll in the back of his head, and she slides the blade out effortlessly, swings it around in her hand, and the blood just perfectly seems to just flake off of the blade. One more down.
And that is her turn, because everything else is up in the air.
Okay. All right, that'll bring it to Griana. Is finish him.
Okay, she's going to.
Oh, no, wait. She's going to move.
Very good.
Well, yeah, Aranray has her full move still.
Yes, and she's like she walks like Essek from Critical Role
just
Campaign 2.
floats?
Yeah, she just floats everywhere
Nice.
effortlessly. So wherever you would like to move the High Matron. But Nick, go ahead as Jeff is moving the Matron.
She's going to look at the guy attacking the Myconid, and she's going to shoot one arrow in that direction, see if that takes them out.
Listen, I know mushrooms are tasty, but my boy has a name.
Yes. 28.
Okay, yeah.
That'll be 17 damage.
Okay.
I don't know if this
Just-
person took damage or not.
No, just barely. Well, I'm gonna say with falling before and being a little bit knocked off, he's gonna get knocked prone and his leg's gonna break, and he's still alive, but he's screaming. He's doing the SpongeBob thing. It's just my leg.
And she'll just smile and let Junior take care of the rest.
Oh yeah,
And
Junior can
then-
no roll necessary. Junior can start to kind of consume this guy's essence if you want to have him do a turn doing that.
Num 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 num.
Yes. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
and she will sling this over her shoulder deftly and pull out the silver bite in two hands and take two swings at this
Oh
guy.
yeah. Oop. Okay. Well, first.
Nat 1 and a 20.
Okay. The matrons are good enough to not be displaced. She kind of gets displaced a little bit. It's going to give, if he's still alive, it's going to give him advantage on the next strike that he takes against her, but I don't think he's going to live that long. Because go
No.
ahead and roll damage on the nat 20. She's a little off, and he kind of like just grabs. He doesn't know what to do. He just kind of grabs her armor and just
Yeah, because I believe it has a +0 at the moment, so I probably just need.
Oh, the weapon has a... Okay,
update.
hold on. Let me, yep. I'll actually fix that right now. That is Silver Bite. What has a +0? Oh, the two hand?
Yeah, the two hand and the one hand also appears to just be a +3.
Oh, yeah, you are correct. That should be 11 to hit. And 11. Okay. Try rolling that. Yeah, it should be fixed now.
Okay, well, the first crit, because my mouse keeps double clicking. That would be
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll do
20
it.
something.
She just kind of swings Silverbite, and just with one downward slash, you can see sort of lightning coalescing on the blade, and as it does, this guy just and he gets blown back, almost off screen, and is now smoldering. He's dead. He has very much been electrocuted.
Good. I like that guy.
Okay. And I still
Very
think
much
she's got a couple of attacks that she can switch to.
She did 3 attacks.
Okay, all right, never mind. Is that it for the matron?
She will move over there to make sure that everything else is clear. But other than that, yeah.
Okay. All right, that'll bring us to, I'm going to say Junior's going to consume this guy's essence. His leg's broken, so he's going to just nom 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 nom. There is one archer left. Abigail, finish the fight. Please.
Yeah. No, just for
I'm going to give you advantages on all your attacks
emphasis.
too, by the way, because this guy's like shitting his pants.
for emphasis, and also, you know, because I like the visual of she summons kind of like this not quite like restricting chains of pinkish light, but they're
Mhm.
definitely something to mark him as she places a hex on him.
Okay. All right, yeah, the shimmering light, and you can see these sort of tendrils of light wrap around this man as he just doesn't know what the fuck to do and looks just dejected. He just starts to openly weep.
And she just kind of goes, bye bye. Bam.
All right.
So it is a 28 and a 21.
Roll damage.
With that is supposed to have a d6 in there somewhere for hex. But that's okay, I can just roll it myself.
Yes. Sometimes, yeah, it says sometimes roll 20 with clicking the button. All right, so how do you end this fight with this archer who is openly weeping as your sort of golden tendrils sort of wrap around him with the hex? And you say bye bye.
It's mostly just exactly that, as she kind of aims it like a finger gun, and the hex, or I'm sorry, not the hex, but the Eldritch Blast comes from the tip of her pointer finger, and goes straight through his neck.
Outstanding. I love that. It's like the finger gun Eldritch Blast. I like that. Go ahead and take DM inspiration for that. I like the DM
Clever's
inspiration.
gonna dodge it as best he can because that is directly in line next to him.
Oh yeah, no, it's like it's zoned in. It's like a homing missile as it just goes right through his neck. You can see the bolt of sort of golden light, and the other one kind of just shatter his form. There's just a bunch of pieces now. As the second one just like this guy was a Jenga tower and he just collapsed. It starts to burn in this radiant light as he falls apart. And with that, the matrons turn towards you. And kind of with a booming voice that echoes through the square, Henri just... Sisters! Siblings! To the Shadow Tower! Reclaim your birthright! And you just hear this howling scream echo through the village as her voice carries. There is this rising banshee screech that just it for all of you that aren't part of this family, you start to get, you hear it. It affects you. You know it's on your side, but this banshee screech echoes through the entirety of Shadowdale And any of the other Red Plume soldiers coming in within 120 to 300 feet just go, "Ah!" as their ears and eyes all start to bleed. You cover your ears as this wail comes to. This battle cry of anger and revenge just boils to the surface, and they start to point towards the Shadow Tower and charge. And that's where we're going to end the session for the evening. So thanks, everybody. I know we're a little bit over, so I'm going to give it to Jeff to take us away in reverse order. Jeff, what do you got going on in the meantime, in between time? You should tell us about your
not a whole lot
projects.
going on for me. Mostly hanging out in the Discord, and look forward to seeing you all out there.
Heck yeah! All right, so we got a woo-hoo. Yeah. Thank you for hyping us up, Puffles. I appreciate that. So Fathagan. All right, and we got a Discord, community Discord. You can hang out with other career witches who love TTRPGs. And D, what you got going
Okay.
on? Hi.
It's me. Nothing much. Kind of trying to finish out this last little bit of school before winter vacation. So just busy with that. Nothing too special at the moment.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. And so while I pull up the next Twitch channel, Nick, what you got going on? I know you got a lot of stuff. You're very busy as well.
Yeah, so other than being here alternating Mondays, I have been with Precarious on Twitch.
Basically reach pretty
Right
much
now we are
anywhere.
wrapping up an Alien RPG mini-series, so this Friday is going to be the finale where my character will most likely die in a fun fashion because she is bleeding out, but that's fun. So anyway, that's been a really fun mini-series, and then I believe after that, next week or the week following, we're going to pick up with our second season of Mr. Makani, because the first one was really good. So, yeah, other than that, that's as far as what I've got going on
All right.
at the
and
moment.
we got more stuff to announce in the future, but for now, catch us right back here tomorrow for Into the Old Margrave. We're gonna be doing a Halloween special. We have costumes. I'm gonna be dressed up as I'm gonna be cosplaying Tatsumaki, the Tornado of Terror for tomorrow, because it's green and black. It's very Margravey, and we're gonna be telling a tale as old as time, a la the saga of the Woodsman and the Wolf and the Daughter in Red, a la Red Riding Hood. So it's a classic the Kobold Press reimagining of a classic tale. So catch us here tomorrow for Halloween and Samhain shenanigans, and then on Wednesday the premiere of Phandelver in Below X Rise of the Zentarum, which ties in. This is a year before that campaign. So if you like what's going on here, if you're watching from that game, check this out. This is all sort of the history of that. So where is Lady D? We're gonna have her. I know. Aqua's coming. I promise. Give me a year and I'll do Lady D just for you. Promise. I gotta get. I have a hat, but I need like a black one. But I have some pearls, and I just need to get the white gown that kind of looks like hers. But in the meantime, we're gonna go say hello to our friends over at Exquisite Corpse Presents Wither Raid. And let's see if we can get all 8. These are awesome people. You're gonna love their stuff. Yeah, we got everybody. All right, so we'll see y'all over there, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. 9:15 p.m. EST for Into the Old Margrave for our Red Riding Hood reimagining a la Kobold Press. I'm very excited. Hopefully we'll all be in costume. See you tomorrow, everybody. Bye.
Bye.